My name is Mbauma Favor. Um, Location Lagos. Well, um, I'm self-employed, and the reason why I want to know more about um this topic is I would really want to dive into food production, and the knowledge will really help me to know how to navigate through that area or through that field. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, my name is Akinlotun Family, and I'm self-employed too, and I'm okay. My location is Ogun State, and yeah, I, I'm doing business around agri, so I want to see how logistics actually shape food price and food security in Nigeria. Thank you.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I live in Lagos, and I live in Lagos. Meanwhile, I really want to know more about agriculture and how it shapes food prices and the security in their country. Because I really want to go into the business, like I want to go into farming sector. So that is why I'm here.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Muhammad Sani Habib, and I'm joining from Abuja. I'm a student of Neva Open University Business Management 200 level, and I'm also a chef and a domestic driver as well. I'm a domestic driver. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
All right, David. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Nice to see a lot of us again. Nice to meet us again. So, as the host mentioned, my name is Favor Oluwaseun, the CMO, acting CMO of Kerithub. Thank you so much. So, let's dive straight. Can we hear me clearly? Hope I'm quite audible. Can we? All right. Thank you so much for that, CPO. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So, our topic is how agricultural logistics shape food prices and food security in Nigeria. So I just have one single question to ask. I want to ask just one single question before we continue. And the question is, why does a basket of tomato or onion cost about 15,000 naira in, let's say, Kaduna, but over 40,000 naira in Lagos? So as we go on, as we proceed in the webinar, I might be diving back to my question. But I'm starting this because I just love to think deep about it. I mean, there are also farmers in Lagos, but why does a bag of tomato or onion or yam, whatever it is, name it, why does it cost 15,000 naira in, let's say, Kaduna or Kano or, yeah, Benue, but over 40,000 naira in Lagos? Why? Why do we think that happened? So, most of the people will blame inflation. They will say, oh, the hike in the price of food and service, some will even blame the middlemen. Some will even say, oh, it's the farmers, they are the one putting money into it. But you know what? The truth is, logistics is one of the biggest reasons why prices are in the high, are on the high, sorry. So agriculture does not just end at harvest. It's, food only creates value when it reaches consumers efficiently. So by the end of the meeting, because we have two speakers, right? By the end of the meeting, I want everybody to know that food is not expensive because farmers are not producing enough. Food is actually expensive because moving food from farm to the consumer is inefficient. Now, let's go to our first slide, which is the second one. The first body slide was the second one. Now, what is agricultural logistics? Agricultural logistics is the process of moving food efficiently. I want each and every one of us to note that word. I hope I'm still clear and audible. I hope. It is the process of moving food efficiently from farms towards the consumer while preserving quality and minimizing cost. So any process from moving food from Kaduna to here in Lagos while preserving the quality. I mean, Yoruba peoples, apologies to my Hausa brothers and sisters, to my Igbo brothers and sisters on the call. I don't know. But Yoruba call, there's this kind of tomato from that Yorubas we get. They call it Esha. So Esha is basically a certain kind of rotten tomato that you can still use to make stew. So we have different kind of tomatoes. I remember I was opportune and privileged to go to my 12, was it, I think 3 months ago now. And my Hausa brothers were showing me, hey, my sister, come and see this one. They were showing me different kind of tomatoes. The strong one, that if you pick it, you have to like soften it with your knuckles or something. They are very hard and very strong. Those kind of tomatoes can stay 2 weeks, 1 week without even diminishing or nothing happening to any of it. I mean, even cockroach can't pierce into it. That's how hard some of these tomatoes are. So when you are able to transport a particular produce from one location to another while preserving the quality, I mean, the quality is intact, and at the same time, the price is not as high as you would think it is, then that is what we call agricultural logistics. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I don't know if I need to repeat myself, but I will do that just for clarity's sake. Agricultural logistics is the process of moving food efficiently from farm to consumer, from Kaduna to Lagos, while preserving the quality. Not Esha, or Yoruba we say Esha. Not Esha, I mean strong, sweet, chewy tomatoes or onion. I don't know if those are heat onions, but I do. Or I mean, strong one while preserving the quality and still minimizing the cost. Yeah, so that's what we call agricultural logistics. So agricultural logistics basically contain four things, and that's aggregation, that's bringing the produce together for efficient management and movement, transporting the food quickly and safely between locations. Distribution is part of it. Then storage. Storage is basically storing the food for quality and reducing losses before you make profits for sale. So now below the first slide, it says good logistics ensures food arrives at the right place, at the right time, and at the right cost. I wouldn't say good logistics, I would say great logistics ensures food arrives for any produce. Let's say great logistics ensures tomato arrives at the right place and at the right time and at the right cost. When we say right cost, not that it will leave Kaduna with 10K, then before it got to Lagos, the money has become 120K. Yeah, that's not the right cost. So, but still within at the right cost, that's a very good logistics. Please, next slide, David. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so the next slide, I don't know if I'm trying to open my own. So the next slide is why does logistics matter? Why do we think logistics matter? I know when I had that question that why does a bag of tomato cost 15,000 naira in Kaduna, but cost about 40,000 naira in Lagos? Why? So now, why does logistics matter? We already explained what agricultural logistics is. I do not expect anybody to leave this call and you go out there and they say, what did you even learn from that webinar? And you're not able to say anything, not even what agricultural logistics is, or even give example about it. I defined it, so and it's in our slides. If you need our slides, we are willing to give you. We are willing. So why does logistics matter? Logistics determines how food is available, how fresh it is, and ultimately how much consumers pay. So now we have a quick data here that we want to use, and this one is a real life data. This one was what we used for honey. In case you don't know, we sold onions. We made our sale. We made our first sale that should be this month, earlier this month. So just in case, the CEO might be speaking more on that. So for our onion, we used it was bags of onion we got. So from Kaduna, it was 48,000 naira. Like, not this one is a more fictional this thing, which is still realistic, right? So from the farm gate, let's assume it's 48,000 naira. Then let's say transportation to Abuja is about 7, 8, 10,000 naira. I don't know if every one of us can see the slides. Can we see the slides? So I won't just be talking. Is there anyone here who cannot see what's on the slide? Or who cannot hear me? I believe every one of us can hear me. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. So let's assume that a bag of onion from Kaduna is 48,000 naira. And the transportation to Abuja, let's say, is about 7,000 naira. And let's say distribution to neighborhood markets. When we say neighborhood markets, let me use Abuja for example. So I don't know how familiar some of us are with Abuja, but we have open markets in Abuja and we have neighborhood markets. What do I mean by neighborhood markets? Markets that once you leave your house, your street markets, exactly. Let me use that. Your streets, people that sell tomato, onions, pepper. I think one thing happened this evening. I was about to go to Kerithub to get pepper for myself this week, for this week. And I just moved out of church and I saw one of my customers that sells pepper to me. I've not seen him for a while. I was so happy and excited to see him. So somebody like that is a neighborhood marketer. He sells within my street. So that's what we actually mean by neighborhood. Then that's how I could like simply define neighborhood markets in case some of us don't know what we mean by neighborhood markets. So then the open markets is basically markets that you probably have to take a stretch. When I mean a stretch, people still trek to their open market, but I mean, it's not like going into your streets, just strolling down and getting whatever you want to get. But an open market has to be like major markets that people in your neighborhood get things from. Yeah, I think that's the word. People in your neighborhood, they would also go there to get things to resell in the streets. So that's the open market. So let's assume that For the open market, let's say distribution to neighborhood markets is about 5,000 naira. That's the transport from the Abuja to the neighborhood market. Then let's say estimated landed cost is about 60,000. Then open markets, their selling price. So for Abuja, there's Maraba, there's Dede, they are open markets. If I'm very correct, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Then I think for the neighborhood markets, we have Asokoro and we have Wuse thereabouts. So for open market, the selling price is about, let's assume, these are all assumptions, right? So selling price is about 60,000. The neighborhood markets Asokoro is about 67. So now what's my home business here? What I'm trying to say in all of this does not even, we might not even remember all of this, but I just want us to look at the trend and the slope from leaving Kaduna. From Kaduna is about 48,000 naira. Let's assume it's 48,000. Now look at the neighborhood market, Asokoro. The end there is about 67. That's how much difference. That should be about, if I'm not mistaken, 48 and 67. Then that should be about 21 or thereabouts differences. So this is one of the reasons why logistics really matter. Logistics matter in agriculture. So I don't know if we can still hear me very well. I don't know. Am I still very audible? All right. Thank you very much, David. So are we following? Please, are we following? So now the last, can we look at the last weddings at the last page, the slide. It says logistics alone contributes about 10,500 to 12,000 naira per bag, roughly 22 to 25% of the farm gate price. Additional retail operating costs and margins explain the rest of the gap between open and neighborhood markets. If we take out 48 from that 67, that should be about 19 to 21,000 naira. And what if we could minimize the cost for the difference to be nothing less than 10,000 naira? It's quite possible, but this just explains that it just takes me back to my question when I started the presentation, that why does a bag of tomato cost 10,000 or 15,000 naira in Kaduna, but getting to Lagos, it's about 40,000 naira to 45,000 naira. Thank you. Please, can we go to the next slide? Thank you so much. I hope we are all following. I hope I'm not just talking. So now let's go to logistics and food security. We've explained what agricultural logistics is. We've explained it. We've also spoken about why logistics matter. Now we are going into logistics and food security. So now, what is food security? I think if someone has been following us right from January, or should I say February, from our webinars, you could have heard food security a lot from some of our webinars. So now, what is food security? I will explain. It means when everyone has reliable access to affordable, safe, and nutritious food. When everyone is able to access something affordable, safe, and at the same time nutritious, then we consider that efficient logistics. There was a time I dreaded hot dog. Oh my God, I don't like hot dog. In fact, then when I was growing up, someone brought a pack of it to my house. We didn't use it, but we gave someone. We don't like it at all. Then when I grew up, I got to realize that it's not even healthy for the body. So while scrolling through social media one day, I just saw one chef, I've even forgotten her name. She was explaining that how bad hot dog are, that they are processed meat and they are not healthy at all for the body. When I want to buy shawarma, I always tell them to take it out. Like, they will look at me and say, "Auntie, why? This like the beauty of shawarma, but like I do not like it." But I don't know, one particular month this year, was it 3 months ago, I just started craving for it. Should I say miraculously? I started craving for it. That they distributed something like that in my workplace, and my boss just gave each and every one of us two parts of it. I'm like, what will I do with this two parts? I have to give some. But the remaining one, I still had to like eat it so that it does not go to waste, even though later I had to waste it at the point. But still, those time I was eating it. I really enjoyed it, my spaghetti, noodles, and thereabouts. So, but then I knew that it was not healthy. I don't know if any of us know a Aproko doctor. He will always say Ikechi, all of the Amaka, all of those kind of things. So I always feel guilty eating it. So I was like, there should be another way about this thing. I mean, there should be another thing, something healthy that we can eat that actually tastes well like hot dog, but it's not processed. It does not have to go through so much heat like hot dog. In case you don't know, hot dog goes through so much heat. That's why it's become like that. And that's why if you put it in the fridge, not freeze, if it does not freeze, after about 1 week, 2 weeks, start bringing out something that looks like mucus. Yeah, it's very, very bad. It's very, very bad to the body, to the health. So then I was scrolling social media and I saw this chef trying to explain how you can make hot dog with your own, like by your own self. You can use beef, we use beef sha. You can use chicken. She was explaining so much that, and it was so good. When she finished, I didn't taste it though, but like I saw that it was so good and it was so healthy. You can even twerk it and add your own ingredients to it. So and it was quite very, very affordable. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of food security. When you're able to have access to affordable, safe, and nutritious food, it was nutritious. It was very safe for you because you made it. We made it with beef, and you made it yourself. You know what you put inside. You will feel very good when you eat it. You will feel very, 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 very nice. I mean, after eating, you know you get something very healthy to yourself. I don't know if one of us have ever cooked before and you will eat the food, you know, oh my goodness, this is so nice and so healthy. You feel very, very nice, very, very good. Feel on top of the world. So that's basically what food security is. So I do not expect anybody to leave this webinar and not know what food security is. Food security means when everyone has reliable access, when you have access to affordable, safe, emphasis on safe and nutritious food. Now let's move on. I hope we are getting it little by little. I just hope we're getting it little by little. Can I get a reaction if we are getting it just little by little? It's all right. Thank you very much for that, guys. Thank you. So now, efficient logistics, what does it help by? It helps by reducing waste. Exactly. It helps by what? Reducing waste. So I had an example in one of my slides. Yes, please hold on. So yeah, it says that food security rests on 4 pillars, and that's the availability, the accessibility, the utilization, and stability. I don't think I'm able to say. I didn't save it. But let's move on. We are not stranded. Let's move on. So food efficient logistics helps by reducing waste. That's less spoilage means more food reaches consumers. I was saying the other time that I was quite privileged and opportune to go to my 12 itself, where people call my 12. And I saw for the first time how they bring trailers, trucks of tomatoes to Lagos. And these people, it was about 4 to 5 trucks thereabouts, like big trailers, or the way they will pack, like, I don't know, they pack the tomatoes. And some of the tomatoes, how much they packed these things, and some of the tomatoes were falling like inside the water, because then was rainy season had started then a little bit then. So there was water like it was not gutter, but there was like water potholes everywhere, and water were inside the potholes. So like dirty water. And some of these tomatoes were falling inside, like they were in nylon bags, but they were falling inside the water. Then I could remember that then some of these guys that were driving, some of them trying to reduce the dropping of these tomatoes from the bag, they will come down, they will take the tomato again and put it back in the trailer like that. Some of them will hold it in their hands to go and put it to their final destination. So they will trek there because it was not far-fetched again to where they are going to offload all of them. So some of these tomatoes, some of them are like, some of them are started smelling, some of them, you will see some of them are still very fresh. Where like the upper part, like the farthest part of the trailer, some of them were there, those good ones. I could like literally see it from the nylon, the transparent one nylon, that these tomatoes are, and some of them, they are rotting so bad that some of them are started generating their own water. You know, tomato has its own water. It's just like chicken. Chicken has its own water and oil. So tomato has its own water. So some of them have started generating their own water from the, and you know, I looked at that kind of tomato, and it made me remember when I was asking some of these how some of these my brothers that how do they sell their tomato, and they were telling me, my sister, this one we had where is 48,000. I could remember vividly. They were telling me that one was 47,000 naira. The one that was good. Okay, this one that had rotten a bit, but we can still use it for stew. How much is it? They called it for me 39,000 naira. Guys, 39. And the one that are very, very good and chewy, those ones are about 48,000 naira. So now, what am I trying to say? Is that less spoilage means more food reaches consumer. But I have to divert to say that when tomatoes spoil, it will reduce the cost of the farmer. You can't expect they probably they carry those tomatoes the same price, but because of transportation, heat, management, storage, and so many things, that other factors that came in, some of the tomatoes had to, you know, they had to give up. They had to spoil on their own. You know, they had to like have one thing. They had to allow pests, insects, cockroach, and some other things to come into them. Then they spoil. You don't expect a consumer that wants to buy tomato. Somebody like me, I do not buy any small rotten like this. In fact, my customers know me. I don't buy it, no matter what. I don't buy it though. So even if you want to call the normal one for me at a higher price, I don't buy that one that's spoiled. And so it just makes me, and some of them be saying, our customer beg, carry me and mix them for you now. That is the same price. So they are trying to gauge. They don't say the word, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to gauge as much as they can so that the loss is not much on their hand. So the second one is connecting markets. Food moves from surplus areas to places where demand is highest. When you have efficient logistics, and I hope we all remember where we are coming from. We've spoken about food security. Now we are speaking about efficient logistics helps buy. What does efficient logistics is? What does it help with? How does it look like? When you have efficient logistics in agriculture in Nigeria, how do you think it will look like? Its food moves from surplus areas. You know, we call Benue food basket of the nation. And I have a very close friend there. She's not currently staying there, but she hails there. And she was telling me that, baby, food is plenty in my side, oh. Food is much. And sometimes when she comes to school, she brings, even though I attended a private uni, they don't allow you cook and thereabout. She will still bring some food produce. She will give lecturers, and I'll say, is that how much food is in Benue State? She'll say, yes. So in fact, she'll be telling me, I bought this for this, I bought this for, and although then was 2019-ish thereabouts. And I would be wowed. Every one of us say, wow, buy this for me. In fact, Kilichi, we started sending them Kilichi to get for us. That's how cheap some of those things are. So areas where we have so much. But look at Lagos. Lagos is stranded. I mean, Lagos is, we are barely living on so many things. Hardly will you see a farmer. Hardly will you see somebody that farm here in Lagos. Yeah, okay, so please, guys, check the chat. The CPO sent a message to the chat. We can, if we have any question, we can drop it. I'm rounding up soon. So the last one that is here, we can go back to research more, is efficient logistics helps by stabilizing price. So reliable supply reduce extreme price fluctuations. When you have efficient logistics, it will definitely stabilize price. You won't be having so much price fluctuation. So you might still have fluctuation, maybe about 0.1, 0.2, 0.4-ish, thereabouts. All right, so no problem. Thank you. When the host is ready to give you the chance to speak, you can. Thank you, sir, for that contribution. So now, if we go down, the off-white little diagram below the slide. We can just check that out. It says 28% of Nigeria's GDP comes from agriculture. So all of these data here, they are facts. They are, in fact, they are facts. It's something you can search on Google, you can search on charts, anything, anywhere you search from. These ones are the one we got truly from the internet. It's not like we came up with this numbers. So 28, did you know that 28% of Nigeria's GDP comes from agriculture? 40% of the workforce is completed by agriculture, is employed. Sorry, I have is employed by agriculture. That is actually true. I know about this 40%. I'm very, very sure of it. 30 to 40% of fresh produce is lost after harvest, and much of it to poor logistics. Sorry, I don't know why I can't really see. Let me just open mine. Okay, 30 to 40% of fresh produce is lost. Much of it is to what? Poor logistics. So what this data is basically saying is that about 40% of produce are lost after harvest. I mean, after a farmer harvests, about 40% of it are lost because of poor logistics in Nigeria. All of these are in Nigeria. Yeah, thank you. So now let's go to the next slide where I'll be stopping. The CEO will be taking the solution and where Kerithub fits. So the economic impacts, please, you can go over to the next slide. Thank you very much. I hope we are all following, and I hope we were able to get one or two things, if not 10 things, about one or two things in the. If you're all following, can I just get a reaction from everybody? Just a reaction is fine. All right, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Sanu. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. All right, let's go to the last one from my hand. The economic impact. So poor logistics affect everyone in the food value chain. And I'll be mentioning that there are a lot. I want us to know that there are a lot of people that poor logistics affect. But you see this particular kind of people, it really affects them. And the first one is the farmers. Farmers lose income when produce cannot reach markets quickly. Definitely, I think we all know this. Farmers start losing incomes when they start losing income when produce cannot get to their consumers, get to markets quickly. Imagine a farmer from Kaduna that wants to take his produce to Abuja, let's say to the open market in Abuja, but the produce could not get to Abuja quickly. On the road, produce of tomato that was supposed to get to Abuja within 1 day or 2 days start turning into 4, multiplying into 6, multiplying again or square rooting to like 8 days, 10 days. I mean, how do you think the condition of the tomato would be before it got to Abuja? And do you think people would rush that kind of tomato? But you see people that will rush it there, they want to scam the sellers. You will see them packing a whole bucket of tomato and telling them this is the amount. They will be the one putting the price on the produce. They won't take your own price. So that's part of it. That's one of the economic impacts. And on the farmers, and these people, they do so much. I've worked with a farmer closely. My grandfather, he was a farmer. He's no longer a farmer, but he was a farmer. Although he has people, he delegated, he's still a farmer, but he delegated people there. And the kind of farmer, not sell, it's just for him and the household consumption. But it was still a farmer. And these people, once there's a particular season, you see all of them, they will plant. For like 3 months, they can start planting, they will wait. Once the rainy season, my grandfather, they don't use imported fertilizers. They create their own fertilizing system, which is the semen of goat semen. They soak it, they add some chemicals, and you see the smell. Some of these things, they will take it in. And at the end of the day, I pity the ones that sell. It's because the reason why my granddad didn't benefit is because it's for the household consumption. There's a lot. You see him start distributing to his children in Lagos, his children in Ibadan, his children everywhere. When it's a whole lot, sometimes he has excess like that, and they hardly eat much. So but those that sell, they will really feel it. The pain, the sun under the sun, from morning till night, sleeping in the farm. Sometimes you won't even eat good food. And at the end of the day, when you decide to sell, you take it to the city. Before you got to the city, poor logistics,
poor storage and so many things, the produce starts spoiling. The amount you gauge, some of them they would have even borrowed loan to plant some of these things. They'll borrow loan. Some of them they I don't even know. And at the end of the day, they hardly get much. They hardly get up to their expectation. And when they don't get up to their expectation, they still let's see hope again. That's how they start becoming poor, start doing all they could do, start honesty. So that's part of the economic impact on the farmer. And I really feel for them. Then on behalf of the businesses spend more transportation, storage, and handling it. Then on the part of the consumer, I think we all know this one. We will always pay higher prices for the same food. We would always do that. The one I remember, I don't know if that one is part of produce. I remember item 7 shawarma. When I started buying item 7 shawarma, it was about 3,300 naira. It was 3,300 naira. But now, I went to their page yesterday. Tell me why I'm seeing 4,800 naira. And they've even reduced the size. So I don't know if that one is relatable, but I think it is. But that was just what I remembered. So we will always pay for the higher price. And if you ask them, a colleague of mine ordered their rice and she's telling me that now their coleslaw. I started buying their coleslaw. She told me she started buying their coleslaw from 300 naira. Now their coleslaw is 1,000 naira. But that smallest size of plastic. So you will always pay for it. You will always pay for it. Imagine me buying pineapple for 500 naira, big one. I will buy for it. But now, my customer, in fact, he would is by a long time because I've been buying from him for almost 2 years now. And he will just he's just long time customer. That's why he will sell it for me at 1,000 naira. For regular normal customer, he sells it for nothing less than 2,100 naira. That's how we set standard price and say what? So we would always pay for it. So that's the economic impact on we the consumers. When produce do not reach the consumers early, when there is poor logistics, when there is poor storage, we will always pay for it. That's the aspect. So now the bigger picture, a 20%, I don't know if we're still following, I hope we have, a 20% to 25% increase in logistics cost can significantly, not very glaring, it can significantly raise the final retail price of fresh produce, especially highly perishable crops such as onions, tomatoes. Oh my God, I don't joke with tomatoes and peppers. So reducing logistics costs improves affordability, profitability for the farmers. When the price of the logistics is not that high, you see some of them they will gain small things from it, and food will be available. Thank you, guys. Over to the next speaker or to the host, then introduce the next speaker. I don't know. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for following.
All right. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And trust me, honestly, I've learned a lot just today as well. And my contribution to this is actually quite unfortunate how um this in food stuff in general, agricultural produce kind of cost and expensive in some areas. But nevertheless, I feel there's need for us to maybe touch a bit about these trade unions, the traders in the market, because honestly, the way they contribute to the high cost of this in produce, from farming and this family, from just like you say. Mm, I know how it is. Some of our produce, our parents actually have to send them to Abuja here. And then the thing is, they are not buying it. They will just waiting the produce until when it's being sold. That's when they will send the money back to our parents, which actually has a lot of different risk, different very cost and everything. Because them taking the produce to the farm, at least we don't used to get to a certain point of a basic price because we don't know since it's this perishable items, you can actually determine the price you're going to sell a particular product today because you don't know how much it is in the market there until you get to the market. So there are all these there unions. Once the produce arrive, they will be the one to determine how much are we going to sell so variety of different product today in the market as of today. And then you get to find out that the penny they are paying those people that actually farm the produce, the farmers, is really quite unfortunate. And then them here, the price they are selling to people is also something different. There's nothing to write home about. I'm a chef here in Abuja. I actually do all my this things cooking myself. I used to go to all this Maraba, Dede, or sometimes even go to market to buy food stuff. I know how much it costs. I have a vehicle with me, Sharon. I'll just take the Sharon to the market, buy whatever it is. I know how much it is in the village. And then once it comes to Abuja here, the price is something different. I can understand the point of transportation as well. Like I said, I'm also a driver. I know how much the price of fuel is. I know sometimes you will see it's one person, two people that will actually follow the product to Abuja. But then once it gets here, the way they will just put everything is somehow unfortunate. Like it's just unfortunate. I can understand there are some that would actually get back. Meanwhile, those ones that spoil, even the farmers in the village will have to they have to bear the cost. They will split the expenses of all those spoiled products, and then they will share the loss in between the both of them. That's the traders and also the farmers. You sending your product, you give them every little thing. In fact, all that we're finding is, to be frank with you people, there are some of the goods that we don't consume, the high quality ones. We send them to Abuja. Is all these, like, let me use Irish potato for example. For an example, you see Irish potato. What we consume is all these little ones. All those big ones, the good ones, we send them to Abuja. Then us we consume the little and tiny ones. But then if there's any this thing damages, we also have to bear this thing the loss. That's another thing. And then also this roadside, is it the street markets as well? There's nothing to write home about it because whatever I'm buying in Maraba at the cost of 10,000 naira, if it gets to them, you buy it at the rate of 25,000 naira. This one, I'm not kidding. In fact, even today, I bought something I was buying when I bought it in our estate here. I bought it 1,500 naira. When I get to at least a nearby village, I bought it 600 naira. And then you look at it, where is all these things coming from? In fact, there's one particular farmers market just by our estate, this gate. That particular person, knowing fully I used to go to market, I know the prices of all those things. If I go to him, I don't actually ask him how much is this and how much is that one. For example, the things I know I'm buying in Malabar, the rate of 3,000 naira. I don't mind personally here, I can pay him 5,000 naira because I know he spent transport. So I'll just pick it up and make a transfer of 5,000 naira to him. Meanwhile, in my present, those things I'm buying 3,000 naira, he is selling them here at the rate of 15,000 naira to customers. So you can see the difference. honestly, sometimes the charges is not really about the transportation and also about the high cost of the existing produce. Yeah, I can understand even the fertilizer, whatever it is, because my father is a farmer up to now, up to date. But then all the consumers and also the retailers, this distribution is, I think we really need to sit down and talk about it. Honestly, I don't know, maybe government regulators should actually come into it. And that's just my little contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think the welcoming note is so much, so I have to be careful what I say. So I apologize for the network. I was supposed to speak earlier. So and thank you everyone for being here and listening to us. So during the first speaker, Asiamo, she rightly laid the foundation, and she mentioned something very that I picked. She said during the process of transporting the food, let's say from the farm to the markets, or let's say, for instance, say from Benue to Lagos or from Kaduna to Abuja, that the quality at the farm gates, might be, just all very good, but some of the produce might give up. So I picked that some of the produce might give up. So what are some of the things that solutions, some of the things that we can do for maybe most of the produce not to give up? So, and to improving agricultural logistics, as shown on the slide, requires smarter coordination and not just more production. So, because the truth is, Africa sometimes it's not really about producing more; it's about coordinating more. Because if we produce so much and we are distributing so little, it's just like the way the light or electricity is in Nigeria. A majority of problem with electricity in Nigeria is not actually production, it's the transmission and the distribution. So that's why you hear that maybe Nigeria is supplying some other states or some other countries light. Why? It means we are producing, the production is okay, is high, is in excess, but the transmission is very low. So for us to avoid more production, we need to invest in production, yes, but we need to invest more in coordination so we can waste less, so that the 30 to 40 or 50% food is not wasted. So what happens to if the waste from, let's say, 30 to 50% can be redirected and coordinated smartly? That's going to feed tens of millions of people more. So the first one is digital market linkage, and that's to connect the farmers directly with the buyers to reduce unnecessary middlemen. So you and I both agree that the more food changes and between people, that's simply the concept of middlemen. It means the farmer knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that will now eventually sell to somebody that knows somebody at the open market. So the more the chain increases, everybody wants to have their own gain or commission because of their efforts. So, and the more the chain increases, the higher the price is also. So, one of the solution is to connect the farmers directly with the buyers to reduce unnecessary middlemen. It's not as though the concept of middlemen is an evil word, but when it's getting too much, it's not actually necessary and it's not good because the price keeps getting higher. So another one is efficient aggregation. That's to consolidate produce closer to farms to lower transport costs. So consolidation, the word consolidation just means when you combine smaller parts of a thing to become a single unit. So I think a general example for every one of us to really grasp is when water is dirty and you put alum inside the water. So why do we put alum inside the water? To that's some chemistry. So, but the summary is just to coagulate, like to bring all the smaller particles together. So when the smaller particles together, they are joined together, they form what is called sludge to settle. Then you can now filter the water. So that's the same thing with consolidating the produce also. So when we notice that, okay, farmer A, farmer B, farmer C, farmer D, they have tomatoes they might not, maybe just 5 baskets, but moving 5 baskets alone from Kaduna to Abuja might cost so much. So why not just, the same vehicle you use probably almost the same, or maybe not the same, but close to the amount of the fuel that you use to transport the produce. So why not just join 5 baskets of tomato from similar location or various nearby farmers clusters, where they are or the produce are concentrated. Join 5 baskets plus 3 baskets for 7 baskets plus 10 baskets and put everything in a single fleet or in a single car, in a single truck. So that will help to lower transportation costs. That's one of the ways to build efficient or smarter logistics. Another one is optimized logistics. So now aggregation comes before logistics. So of course, logistics is the whole process of everything, the whole moving the food from the farm gates directly to where it's needed. That's the concept. So now, when you optimize logistics, it means you plan the routes and you consolidate deliveries to reduce empty trips. So what that means is that it's just like, let's say food is coming from Benue and it's going to Lagos, but everything is not going to Lagos. Let's say some of them are actually going to maybe Bodija. Bodija is in Ibadan. Some of them are going to maybe Mile 12. Some of them are going to maybe Shagamu in Ogun State. So, but you have to pass through you most like you pass through from Benue. Anyway, you're going to the west, you pass through Ibadan first, you pass through Ogun State, and then you now go to Lagos. So instead of just taking the order directly to Lagos, why not just consolidate, like join the orders that are going to Ogun State together, to Ibadan together, to Lagos together, and to reduce empty trips and to also reduce logistic costs. So that's another way to also plan logistics to reduce food price. So another one is better market information. That's match supply with demand and reduce waste. So one of the problems, honestly, with agriculture in Nigeria and I presume in Africa also, is that there's limited data. So in sense that most of the information flies by calls. Even the farmers, they don't know how much the food costs in the market, in the city. Maybe the farmers in maybe Benin, they don't know how much it costs in Lagos, or maybe how much it costs in, let's say in Kaduna, they don't know how much it costs in Abuja. So, but when information moves, in a very, very coordinated manner, that's okay. There's what is called logistic glut. Glut, that's GLUT. So it means most of our open markets, maybe the Mile 12, the Maraba, the Dede, you just see that there are trucks that are just bringing food from different states just to just to dump it. I don't want to use like sites, just to dump it at the open market, because they don't really have information about who needs this, who doesn't need this. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of food just waste. So some of these things can actually be avoided if we have, as we build, data around demand and supply. That it's not just like we are just bringing a truck. Why are you bringing a truck? Why are you taking a truck today? A truck that contains 100 baskets. Is that what is needed? In fact, one of the things that we hear a lot in our field research is when you ask a seller, for instance, in Dede, in Maraba, or maybe in Mile 12, that will you finish selling this tomato today? They will tell you yes, inshallah. So inshallah, it means they are hoping that by God's grace. So I mean, we are not trying to take away the God's grace, but data gives us the ability to make more informed decision. So for instance, that okay, it is actually 5 baskets that people need. Why are you ordering for 10 baskets? Why are you supplying 10 baskets? You can actually divide it. You can take the 5 baskets to where it's needed. Take the other 5 baskets, 3 baskets, 2 baskets to other places where it's needed. So that market information helps to build something very good. So please, can we go over to the next slide, please? All right, thank you. So we actually used if you look at the top of, we used the word build 07 out of 8, just like logistic code. So I'm not necessarily so our role as Kerithub is building a smarter agricultural logistics network that connects farmers directly with retailers. So that's our role at Kerithub. We want food to be available where it's needed and at a very good price, reasonable price. Food should not be something that is very difficult for people to get. In one of our meetings, the CEO was saying that the amount of money that is spent on food, basic need in Africa, is a lot, probably more than 60%. But in the US, it's not like that. Probably less than 10% in the US. So if people are spending more than 60% of their income on food, how much are people earning? If you are living in the US, you're earning more than most likely any more than somebody in Nigeria. So because of that, we want to source at the farm. We are working directly with farmers. We have farmer network that we're working directly with to improve transparency. Transparency means openness. That's one of the things that is very necessary in business. And a lot of people don't want to be transparent, like they don't want to be open about how they do their business and all. So, but once we are working directly with farmers to improve transparency, reduce unnecessarily markups. So, because when we source at the farm, we are sourcing from people that are producing these things that know and understand the value of what's going on, or they are the bedrock, the foundation, the pillars of agriculture. They are the farmers. So, and also another one is to coordinate logistics. We also organize aggregation and transportation to move produce efficiently. So we have logistic partner that we work with that help us to organize and aggregate. When I say aggregate now, we all understand aggregation now. It means consolidation, taking all the smaller orders together and joining them together and just moving them efficiently. So another place where Kerithub also fits in is to match supply with demand. And this is very, very important to us. Like I said the other time, that the food is there, the farmers are there, the food is there, the retailers are there. But one of the things that is missing in Nigerian culture, one of the things that will really make Nigerian culture to be way more effective is the data. Like the information, how the information is structured and well communicated and passing through all the different nodes where they're connecting the whole value chain together. So we match supply with demand. We don't just bring produce to Abuja, for instance, or maybe one of our farm cluster in Kaduna. We bring them down because people need them, because we don't want food to waste. So that's one of the ways we match supply directly with demand. If we don't get demand, we don't supply. It's just like business. You don't answer questions that people are not asking. If not, it's going to lead to loss and waste, and we don't like waste. God hates waste. We hate waste also. I mean, waste is it's not good. It's very bad. So now another one is we reduce waste and cost. So that's by shortening the supply chain. I mentioned earlier that the middlemen, unnecessarily middlemen chain. So by through the our coordination, we are able to shortening. We are able to reduce the supply chain. If you visualize that, it's just like think about Kerithub like a bridge that connects the food, where the food is being supplied or produced from the farmers, to where the food is needed. That's just like how like you can visualize that. So we are working on shortening, reducing that supply chain to help reduce food losses and also improve price stability. So our mission is simple: is to make fresh food more accessible, affordable, and profitable for everyone in the value chain. So thank you. Please, next slide. Thank you for listening. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, all right, thank you. So thank you. We appreciate. Thank you for listening. So if you have any question, and this is the question and discussion we've been speaking about a lot, so it's time for you to also talk back and speak with us and ask us questions, and let's discuss on how agriculture fits the nation and how logistics keep it's moving. So if you have any questions, you can kindly unmute or you can drop in the chat box. Thank you. All right. Thank you. So, Kerithub is a vision that is actually born out of love and passion to solve a problem, especially in agriculture. And when we say agriculture, agriculture doesn't stand alone for us. Agriculture also is empowered and made efficient with technology, empowered and made efficient with finance, empowered and made efficient with data analysis, and empowered and made efficient with how we run our operations, like a strong operational model. So, and it's we really love and to see the agricultural space move into the next phase, into the next level. So we've seen a lot of innovation in Africa, especially in the tech space, especially also in the finance space. We've seen companies, finance companies that are unicorns worth over $1 billion. So I believe the next big thing in Africa should be agriculture, because Africa is the largest growing population in the world. Right now, we're about 1.5 billion people. In the next, I think by 2020, 2050, about 24 years from now, we are projected to reach about 2.5 billion people. It means Africa will be the one of the most populated continents in the world. So Africa's problems should be solved by Africans who live by them. That's one of the things that we believe. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's going to help us. I may solve the majority of our problem. I'm not saying that we don't need foreign aid and all that, but what I'm saying is that we must always have that mindset. When we have that mindset that we are the people that are facing the problem should actually be the ones to innovate and solve the problem. Because if somebody else comes to solve the problem for us, they are going to colonize us, because solutions don't come free. So, and that's one of the things that we are doing here at Kerithub, to coordinate, to see from the farmers' end, how to, coordinate the farming activity in near future, how to finance our farmers, how to coordinate and connect the markets, the open market, the bigger market to the smaller markets. We launched our MVP last month, and just to move, moving produce from farm directly to neighborhood markets. We've learned a lot, and we are still learning a lot also. How to, we are also working on releasing our next product, on building a solution for the open markets, connecting them directly with the neighborhood markets. And some of this, the reason why we are doing some of these things is to just, we see it as a calling actually, that we are called to do this, and we are also engraced and empowered by God to do this. And we do it with all our hearts, not just for the money. Yes, we know that value follows money, but much more than, we are not we are not doing this recklessly because we just want to make money and all that. The money is very important. We are going to make a lot of money, of course, yes, but much more the value, the impact, the social impact, the food that will not be wasted, that will be preserved, the price that will be more reasonable and affordable for you and I to make a good living. And that's one of the reasons why we are here. And we are building. Yes, we are still growing. We are still in our seed stage, and we believe that the future is very, very bright. With the help of the team, everybody has been contributing. The CMO spoke earlier. Please, let's appreciate her. Very wonderful woman. We have a FRO or FRM, yeah, a farmer relation officer, a great man also, and our host, that's the CTO. I like to call him Brad Dave. So, and also the CEO also. We have the CEO also, Mr. Chisom Maduka. And we have, in absentia, we have the CPO also. That's Ms. Tosin Toyimbo. Every member of this team, we've been working together for the past 9 months, thereabouts, just to, solve the next, the major problem in Africa, bring solution to the major problem in Africa. So I want to thank you, every one of you that attended. Thank you so much. Without you, we can't be organizing webinar for just ourselves. So you are very important to us. We'd like to have you on our WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp community also. I don't know if the link is there. But much more, we would like you to join our LinkedIn, TikTok, and we are very much active on that. And also Facebook, you can give us a follow. You can like what we are doing. You can talk to Kerithub. You can even make it an art to talk to Kerithub about what you just learned or what you are doing. We'll share the slide with you. You can invite somebody, be in the next webinar, and see you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Bye for now.